Hi there, my name's John, and I am an atheist, and I'm responding to your video defending Wicca. I am sort of jumping the gun here because I know that there is a second part of the video forthcoming, and I apologize if there's something you clarify in that, but you made some statements regarding what arguments you get typically from secularists and from atheists with regard to Wicca, and I wanted to speak to that to a certain extent. You made a few claims there that are really quite incredible, and I wanted to get some clarification from you on that and possibly open a dialogue where you can explain that in more detail. I should explain that my purpose here is not necessarily to shoot your religion down. It's, I question all religions. And this is largely just an intellectual exercise, so please take it in that spirit. Don't take it personally. I know that there's a lot of things that you said regarding atheists who believe that Wiccans are overweight, goth, or whatever. I don't remember the exact terms that you used, and of course, I find that morally repugnant that anyone would use bigotry and stereotype to argue any particular case or another. But anyway, the question that I wanted to address, one of them is that you made the claim in your video. You said that there is evidence for duality. Now, when you talk about duality in spiritual circles, you're talking about dualism. And dualism is the idea that you have, there's two separate parts of you, hence dual. That there is an element of you that is your body and your brain and your heart and your lungs, and then there is also a spiritual element, a soul, if you will. That there is something about you that operates completely independently of the function of your brain, that is some sort of essential you. So there's two things: there's your body, and then there's the real you, the soul, or what have you. That's what we talk about when we talk about dualism. So I'm sort of making an assumption here that when you say duality, we're talking about dualism. So I guess that's kind of a fair point to bring up in response. But you mentioned that you had evidence for this. I would be very interested to hear that. I don't know of any evidence that exists that the mind and the body are two separate things. There's plenty of cases where the great story, Phineas Gage got a railroad spike through the head, it damaged his brain, and his personality changed. He was no longer the person he was someone else. If we believe that the essence is somewhere separate from the brain, then how can we injure the brain and cause someone's essence to change? When someone's brain is damaged and they lose the ability to see, for example, because of brain damage, they don't simply lose the ability to see. They lose the concept of seeing. If someone's brain is damaged in the vision centers, they don't know what it is to look. Okay? They don't perceive blackness. They perceive that this entire discussion of looking would be, to you or I, what fnarging would be. Can you fnarg that? I fnarg that this way. Do you fnarg that way? That's the same sort of comparison. And I think that provides a tremendous amount of evidence against the idea of duality. The other claim that you made, and this is a common claim made among Wiccans, is the claim with regard to the efficacy of magic. And I know that you, in your response, you sort of couched your response and sort of put it behind a shield, if you will. That there is an element in Wicca of a mystery religion, and there's been a lot of those throughout history. And you mentioned magic in terms of what it would be best for someone outside Wicca to think of it. And that's you're being a little secretive there, and it's a little bit condescending. But at its essence, what you're really doing is you're making a truth claim. You're simply deciding to withhold that truth claim from non-Wiccans. When you talk about it working for you, what you're really saying there is that you see it, that it works, but you're not going to tell us, or you're not going to provide the rest of us with evidence because it's a secretive element to your religion. Secretive religions are not uncommon in history. For example, if you take Christianity and add syncretism, you get Mithraism, or the worship of Mithras, which was prominent in the world just before Christianity arose. Interestingly, it features a deity who dies and rises again and has a lot of other things in common with Christianity. But that's neither here nor there. Mystery. My point is that being a mystery religion does not exclude you from the requirement that if you make a positive truth claim, such as magic works, it is incumbent upon you to prove that if you want the rest of the world to consider it, or if you want to establish it as truth for anyone, yourself included. When you make a proposition of truth, it is up to you to defend that proposition. If I make a proposition that there is a giant celestial teapot orbiting somewhere between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, and that it is invisible and cannot be seen with any telescope, but it created everything, then it's incumbent upon me to provide evidence for that assertion. As pointed out by the absurdity of what I just proposed, you can propose anything. Any claim to truth that is completely devoid of evidence is just as reliable as any other. So that's basically the points that I wanted to raise. Again, this is not, I'm not here to shoot you down. I'm hoping that in inviting video responses that your goal is to open a dialogue to further the knowledge of everyone involved, yourself hopefully included. And I hope that it's accepted in that spirit. Thank you.